Hello and welcome back to this course of videos on Node.js. In this video we'll continue to talk about modules, but more specifically about something called core modules. Now in the previous video we actually built our own custom modules. Now these are known as local modules, and we built those. We basically wrote JavaScript code in a file and made that code available to other files. Made it accessible to other files, basically as a way of organizing our code. Now Node actually provides a number of these modules that are pre-built by the Node team and made available to us, and they are part of the vanilla installation. So to look at these core modules that are available to us, if you go to nodejs.org and go to docs and then click on the link to the API for the version that you've installed. I've installed version 6. But you can see on the left down here, we have a number of our core modules. So the important ones we'll be using over these videos. HTTP and file system is very important. In this video, we're going to look at the OS and path modules, these core modules. If we click on the path module, we can see here are all of the methods that are actually available, made available by this core module. Remember, this is very much like the local custom modules that we built before. Path is really just a JavaScript file, to put it very simply, and we can have access to the code and the methods in that file by simply requiring it. Now, we're going to require it in the same way as we required our local modules. Well, not quite exactly the same. So if you remember, with our local modules, we actually had to tell Node where the file was residing. So notice previously I put a // in front of there. The / means that the file that we're looking to require is in the same folder as we are currently in the file that we're currently writing code on. Now with core modules we don't need to do that because Node knows exactly where all of the core modules reside. So all you're going to do is put the name of the core module in there. Then when we require, we will have access to all of the modules. Now, sorry, we'll have access to all of the methods. Now just to show this in action, we're going to use a few methods that are made available as part of the path module. If I just populate a variable with a path to an index.html file that I created earlier, we will use these three methods that are part of the path module. Now, base name will give us the actual name of the file, dir name will give us the folder that the file is residing in, and ext name, extension name, will give us a .html. So if I save this, I'm just going to go back to my git bash terminal, and I'm already in the correct folder where my core modules JS file is residing. So all I need to do to run it is say node and then type in the name of the file, which is core modules, and we'll run it and we'll see it brings us back, feeds us back this data based on these methods that were part of the core object and this core module, this path module. So all we needed to do to get access to all these wonderful new methods was to simply require this core module. I'm just going to comment this out, and then we're going to look at a second core module, which I also consider very useful. But this is called the OS core module. Now what this gives you access to is a lot of information about the server that you are running your code on. Now the first thing it does, which is extremely interesting, is it gives you information about the CPUs that are on the server that you're currently running on. The server that I'm running on is basically localhost. It's my local computer, a MacBook Air. So when I run this method CPUs here, which is attached to the OS core module, it's going to return an array which gives me information about the CPUs that are running on my computer. So I'm just going to comment out these second two lines first. And so as you can see, I'm going to populate the array into this variable using os.cpu, this method, and then we're going to console log the array that has been returned. So if we go back here and we're just going to run Node Core Modules again, you'll see this is an array here. You can see there's the opening and closing brackets, and within this array you can see I have 4 separate objects, and each one of those objects represents one of the CPUs on my computer. So probably a way that you would one of the ways you might quickly use this is to just say, okay, tell me how many CPUs I'm working with, and you would use CPU array dot length. So you can see here I have 4 CPUs. Now let's take this back to, we talked previously about one of the great benefits of using Node.js, the single-threaded, non-blocking aspect of Node.js. Now the more astute among you might say, well, hold on a sec, what about if I have a quad-core processor, as I obviously do in this case? Now there is a way actually you can, and we'll study it in later videos, where you can leverage multiple CPUs by starting a separate node process on each of the CPUs on your server. So this array.length, getting the number of CPUs on your particular server would be extremely useful if you are going to use that functionality. So just as a last piece, I'm just going to show how you can drill down. Obviously the array that was returned, there's one object for each of my CPUs. Now I just want to drill down using dot notation. So I'm going to look at the first CPU, zero-based arrays obviously, and just look at the model. So it's going to drill down it, and it should take this, my first processor, process number 1, it's going to return the model for me. So I'm just going to save this, and I'm going to run this again. And you can see there is the model of my CPU number 1. So that's a quick introduction to core modules. We'll be using them throughout this course of videos. It's going to be something you use very often, but I hope this gives you a nice introduction, and I will see you in future videos. Thank you.